100% when it comes to climate justice, right? We talk about people like Senator Fetterman. You talk about former Senator Kristen Sinema from Arizona, right? These were all folks who ran on very progressive agendas, and that's how they won the youth votes in their state. And then they got into office and completely forgot about their campaign promises. Democrats have been doing that a lot lately. And I think the reality is if the Democrats continue to bow down to Trump, we're only going to see more rollbacks than what we've seen so far. And I think what Trump has made clear is that there is a clear commitment on his end from his administration to destroy uh, our climate.
Right. And to your point, Alyssa, this is why it's never been about party. Right. We understand that, to your point, right? Folks say what they need to say to get into office and then they have their own agenda. This is really about people power. When we want to see movement, we need movement, right? We cannot rely on Democrat versus Republican. Those things don't matter. They're all about getting their money. They all have people who are funding their campaigns. They all have interests and special interests. And a lot of times those interests are against what their constituents really need, and really put them in office for.
Right. I think one of the more sort of clear examples that we could draw on uh, where we talk about the impacts of US policy on climate. So we're going to move on to talk a bit about Puerto Rico, talk about the environmental impacts of colonization and colonialism and how that has really torn up the island. For our viewers, I'll be doing a lot of talking here. Hope you like my voice.
We do.
Yes, go, Alyssa.
So Puerto Rico, as we know it at the moment, sadly, is a U.S. colony. Sadly, we are tied to this country. But the reality is that we suffer from a very clear environmental colonialism, right? We're talking about the exploitation of our land, the underinvestment in infrastructure, and limited self determination for the island. We're also talking about environmental decisions that are made far from the island and often prioritize mainland profit over local Puerto Ricans, right?